Now, this particular section is going to be looking at schematic components in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. For that reason, make sure that you're in the Schematic tab on the ribbon. We'll need that later. And then when you look at the drawing, we've zoomed to the extent of the drawing. You can see the title block there. What we're going to do is we're going to look at this top left corner. So I'm going to zoom in, pan, zoom in again, just to make sure that we can see all of the wires and the wire numbers. Now what we want to do is insert a couple of components here in this wire here. But we need to join it to this wire here first. We're going to utilize the wire stretch command for that particular purpose. So let's do that first. So Schematic tab on the ribbon, edit wires, wire numbers here, and click on this flyout menu here and select stretch wire. Come into the drawing area, and if you click on this end of the wire here, it will automatically stretch it and put a connector in there for me. I can then press escape to exit that stretch command. Now you will notice, if I zoom in real close, that that wire there, can you see, needs to come down to the connector. So just click there, click on the grip, take it down to there and click, and it joins to the connector nice and neatly. You can use grips like that all the time on wires. It's a very neat tool. So let's zoom out, pan across, and you can see now that that wire goes right across, and I'm going to zoom in on that wire only. Now what we need to do is insert a component, and what I'm going to do is insert a pilot light into that particular wire. So I go over to the Schematic tab on the ribbon. I then go to the Insert Components panel and click here on the icon menu. Select icon menu here, and then we go here to all of our schematic symbols. Now I'm working with the JIC Imperial schematic symbols. Obviously, if you're working to European metric standards, it would have their IEC schematic symbols. So let's have a look now. There's our pilot lights there. So I click there, pilot light, and it shows me all of the pilot light symbols available. I'm going to go for a red standard pilot light here, this one here. Click there, and I come into the drawing area, and I can then insert that onto the wire. Now you'll notice it's going for the endpoint snap right now. So make sure that you check that your object snaps are off, and then just click on the wire. It refreshes the drawing, and then as you can see, you're prompted now to insert or edit the component. We'll look at editing the components later on in this particular section. So I'm going to click on OK, and there's my pilot light straight into that particular wire, and you'll notice that P1L100 now is there, and we've got a new wire, 102 there, which is sequentially numbered from the pilot light onwards, because we've split that wire now into two wire segments running from one side of the component to the other. So that is how you insert components into your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Annotating and editing existing symbols that you've already brought into your AutoCAD electrical drawings is very, very easy. We've got Project Demo 12 and we're still in the drawing demo02.dwg. And you'll recognize the pilot light that we brought in earlier. Now, it's very obvious to see it's a pilot light because it's got the pilot light symbol. It's got LT102, LT meaning light. The R in the center indicates that it's a red pilot light. Now, I can edit this component and I can edit the annotation that appears next to this particular component as well. All I do is I select the component like so, and I then right-click, and I get this wonderful shortcut menu available only in AutoCAD Electrical, you'll notice. It also appears in another Autodesk product, though, Autodesk Inventor, which is where it came from. Now, this is a really neat tool, because I can go to any of these and just swing my mouse around and pick what I want to do. So I want to edit component. Now, you'll recognize this dialog box from where we originally inserted the component. Now, I can change the component tag. So I'm going to change that there. Instead of 102, I want that to start at 500. And I might give it a description. So it might be something like P-light, and then we'll put as line 2, red. So I've changed the component tag, which is all to do with the database and the actual component listed in the database. These descriptions here are text fields, text attributes that apply to that particular component. Because I've got LT500 in the AutoCAD Electrical Project database, those two lines of text or description fields relate to that particular component. So when I click on OK now, what'll happen is that'll change, and you can see, look, there's the actual descriptions there. Now, they're in a bit of a weird place. No problem at all. Let's just quickly select that again, right-click and go down to Attributes, and I can move attributes that apply to that component symbol. Click on Move Attribute, I select P-Light and Red. You'll see the little box go round them. I then press Enter to confirm, and it asks for a base point. So it's just like the Move command. So I now pick a base point on, say, P-Light there, drag those over to here, just click again, nice and neatly placed, hit Escape to cancel. There is my editing and annotating a component that you've already added to an AutoCAD electrical drawing. It may be when you're inserting components into your AutoCAD electrical drawings that you want to use an existing part number. Now you'll notice that the pilot light, the red pilot light that we added earlier, has the component tag LT500 there by the crosshair. What happens if I want to insert another pilot light, let's say on the same wire here? So let's go to the icon menu. So we're in the Schematic tab on the ribbon, icon menu here like so. And what I can do is I can go to the recently used column here and click on red standard pilot light. Come into the drawing area and just click here. As soon as I do that, it gives me the option to insert or edit the component. Now, if I go here and change that 102 to 500, that's already in the AutoCAD Electrical project database. So what happens if I click on OK there? It picks up the fact that it's a duplicate component. Now I can use that duplicate component tag. Nothing to stop me doing that, or I can use the new sequential component tag if I want to. So there's nothing to stop me changing this. So what I'll do is I'll use the duplicate component tag here, and then I'll click on OK. Then click on OK here, brings it in with the same number, you'll notice. Now that can obviously lead to confusion. So the lovely thing is now is I can go here, click there, right click, go to Edit Component and change that to 501. What I've done there kind of defeats the object of what I originally did by bringing that new component in with the component tag LT500. But I was purely using that to show you the demonstration of how you can edit your component tags by way of duplicates. It may be that it's exactly the same component, so you are doubling up and you will have two LT500s in the drawing. It does happen. However, you can still edit the component like I'm doing now and take it to the next sequential component tag if you want to. So I will do that, change it to 501, click on OK there, that updates, and you'll notice now this drawing contains related components. They may no longer exactly match the edited component. I've got an LT500 just there. Because I've added another LT500, it's telling me, do I need to update the related component here to 501 as well? In this case, I don't want to. I can skip it. But I could update it and they would then both become LT501s. If I skip that though, you'll see I've got a 500 and a 501 on that wire in my AutoCAD electrical drawing. We're still in Project Demo 12, we're still in the subfolder Schematic, and we've still got drawing Demo 02 open. Now when you're working with your AutoCAD electrical projects, you sometimes want to create a project-specific catalog database. You might be working with a specific manufacturer, or you might have specific components that work only on this particular AutoCAD electrical project. Now, if I just go into my File Explorer in Windows for a moment and bring up the standard catalogs that are installed when you first install AutoCAD Electrical. So you can see you've got things like the ACE electrical standard. You've got the default catalog, which is the one that is always there. And you'll notice these are all MDB files, Microsoft MDB files, which are Access Database files. And you'll notice you've also got an XLS file there as well, an XL file. All of these can be edited at any time, and you can create new ones and add them to your default catalogs folder in the AutoCAD installation files. So when you install AutoCAD Electrical, this catalogs folder is always there. You might put your manufacturer's catalog in here that you specifically need to use. Now, at the moment, we're just using that one there, the default catalog MDB file for the project that we're working on. So I'll just minimize the catalogs folder for the moment. And what we can do is if we go to the Project tab on the ribbon here, and then go to the other tools flyout and click on it here. I'm going to pin it open so it doesn't keep flicking back into the ribbon. And you'll see that you've got a whole load of different commands here on the other tools for your AutoCAD electrical projects. Now you've got this icon here, create project specific catalog database. So if I click on that now, you can see that the main catalog file is the one I've just shown you. It's that one there, the default catalog MDB file. But if I come down here, I can create a project specific catalog file, which I can also save in the project folder or keep it separate and put it in a different location. So you can see there that my location for that one would become Demo 12 Catalog MDB. Now I'm not going to change all of those settings. I'm just going to hit cancel there for now, and I'm going to unpin the flyout menu. But the idea being is you've got that tool there that will allow you to create a project specific catalog database instead of the default catalog database. You can also store it separately, either in your project file or not within your project file as well. So the whole idea is that you can make it project specific. And that's very important, like I said, if you're working with a specific manufacturer or you've got specific project standards that you need to maintain. Quite often in AutoCAD electrical drawings, you want to build what they call a parent-child relationship with certain schematic components. Typical examples are a motor and then the motor starter contact that would be used to actually start the motor up in the circuit. We're staying in Demo 12 project and we're still in drawing Demo 02. Make sure that you're in your schematic tab here on the ribbon. Now, in the drawing itself, you can see the pilot lights that we've added here. What we're going to do is we're going to add a 3-phase motor to the end of this wire here, and then we're going to put the starter motor contact in and build a parent-child relationship between the two. It's very, very easy to do because a lot of it is parametric and automated. You don't have to worry about the links in the database in the project behind the drawing. AutoCAD Electrical does that for you. So what we do, we go up to the icon menu here in the Insert Components panel, click here, Icon menu. Now you'll notice I've already looked at a 3-phase motor and a 3-phase starter contact there. So let's go for the 3-phase motor first, and we'll bring that in, and I'm just going to add this to the end of this wire here, like so. That goes in, and the component tag becomes MOT104. So that's our motor tag. I'm not going to put any other data in. I'm just going to click on OK, and that goes into the drawing right there. You can see it there. Now what you might want to do there is click on that motor, right click, and then attributes here, and we're going to move the attribute. We're going to click on the MOT104, right click or enter to confirm, pick a base point. I'm just going to move that over. Let's place it just underneath there. It just then avoids any confusion with those numbers going down that ladder to the right there, 118, 119, and so on. So I'll press enter to finish, so that's done. So there's our motor in place. If I go back to the icon menu over here on the left, you'll notice I've got a 3-phase starter contact. NO stands for normally open. So I click on that there, and I'm going to place that in the same wire as my 3-phase motor. So when I click there like that, it prompts me now, do I want to build up or down? Now that means, do I want to build these contacts up or down from this wire here? I'm going to go up, because then it will link into here, into this multiple bus wiring. You'll see everything start to update. Do we want to insert or edit the child component? Well, of course we do. We want to point out where the parent component is. So I go to parent sibling here, and then I zoom in. I'm just going to pan a bit here as well. And I'm going to select the MOT104. The child's contact family code is different from what is on the parent, and it is. Because I've gone for a motor contact, it's just an M, whereas the MOT comes from the motor. Now I want it to be the new one, the MOT, so I click on OK, and you'll see now that the tag is now MOT104. The same as the motor. So what I've done now is I've built that relationship between the motor as the parent and the motor contact as the child. That's the parent-child relationship that we're building up. So when I click on OK now, everything will update in the project. Takes a few seconds, and you'll see there MOT 104, 104, 104, 104. So there's the parent object, which in this case the component is the motor. and then the motor contacts that start up the motor are related back to that as the child. So these are now linked in the database in the AutoCAD Electrical project as a parent and a child. So you can link these things together so that when this is being installed as an installation, people know what links to what in your AutoCAD Electrical drawings. There will be occasions where you need to copy components from your AutoCAD Electrical equipment list. Now, your equipment list might be set up specifically for project reasons, where you use specific components all the time. You might work in a specific industry like medical or construction, where you use a specific manufacturer constantly because they're the products that you put into your AutoCAD Electrical drawings. We're still in the Demo 12 project using the Demo 02 drawing. Make sure you're in your Schematic tab on the ribbon. Click on this flyout here in the Insert Components panel, and instead of using the icon menu, go down to Equipment List. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and use the default MDB file here, WD Demo. This comes with AutoCAD Electrical. So when you install AutoCAD Electrical, you get this MDB file because there is a WD Demo project set up by default. So if I double click there, I'm going to look for components because I need to insert a component into my drawing. So I go Component and I click on OK. I'm just going to go for the default hard-coded settings for AutoCAD Electrical, and then I'm going to click on OK like so. Now there's all the default component settings. So you can see, look, there's all different manufacturers there that are come in as defaults in AutoCAD Electrical. So if I scroll down the list a bit here and look for, say, a Bussmann fuse, let's go for that one there, 224. So you can see there that it's a 224, the location is MCAB 5 in this particular project. So if I click on Insert now, what happens is it doesn't actually find that block available in the equipment list in this particular drawing. Now it might be that it's not in this project or it's not in this drawing, but it's telling me it can't find a block, as in an AutoCAD block, that represents that fuse anywhere. If that's a problem, I can go to the icon menu and go and search for a fuse in there using one of the default fuses, or I can use this tool here, Copy Component, which allows me to insert a just like component. So if I click on there, I select the component to copy. If I just pan up a little bit, we've got my red circuit here, and I want to put a fuse in this wire here. You'll notice on the three-phase circuit below, there's some fuses here. Can you see that one there? It's a 5 amp FU207 tagged fuse. So I click there, there's my fuse. I click here, and it inserts that fuse. Picks up the catalog data straight away. FU103 is the next component tag. I click on OK now. That's all in there. So can you see it's still an FRS R10, but the tag is 224. So it can't find that one. And when I click on Close, if I go here, right click and do Edit Component, you can see there, Catalog FRS R10, and it's a Bussmann. And what I've done is I've used a similar block, but then added different catalog data. So I can do that if I want to. If I can't find it in the equipment list, I can update it from existing components in my AutoCAD Electrical drawing. So that's how you can bring in information from the equipment list in AutoCAD Electrical. There will be occasions in AutoCAD Electrical where you want to insert components from a known manufacturer's catalog file. You might be working with an existing project that uses a specific manufacturer like AB, ABB, or Bussmann, for example. Those are some typical manufacturers' catalogs that you might be using. We're still in the Demo 12 project, and I've still got drawing Demo 02 open as well. I've just done a little bit of panning and zooming though, because I want some clearance over here on the left. I'm going to be inserting a fuse in that wire length just there. I need some space now for a new feature in AutoCAD Electrical 2015, and that is the Catalog Browser. Go to your Schematic tab here on the ribbon, Insert Components panel, click on the flyout here and go to Catalog Browser. Now this will bring up the Catalog Browser, which is subtly different to what you may have used before in previous AutoCAD Electrical versions. I've done a search on fuses already, so there's my fuses there. I pick a category. I'm going to search for AB, so I click on search there. And there's all of the manufacturer's items that have been pre-installed with this installation of AutoCAD Electrical 2015. If I select one of these, like so, it gives me these three little symbols. This one here tells me that there's no symbol associated with this catalog value. But I can go to the icon menu and link a particular icon symbol to that particular catalog value. I can also go here to the web address to look up the actual specification for that component. I can also add it to my list of favorites. There's my favorites list there, which is grayed out because I've got no favorites at the moment. But if I click here, I can add that to the favorites list so I can go back and find it at a later date. Now what I'm going to do is go to the icon menu by clicking here, and that'll allow me now to go into my fuses and circuit breakers here. I'm going to select a fuse with a tag, and then it prompts me now, do I want to map that symbol to that catalog number? Well, yes, I do, because there's no symbol provided. So I click there like so, and now if I come into the drawing area, there's my fuse. I'm just going to click there on that wire length, and it puts the fuse in, gives it a component tag, but there's the manufacturer data from that catalog list. So if I just move this down a moment, there's my highlighted 1492 FB2J60L. There it is there as a catalog number there. So I've linked that particular catalog number to that particular symbol in the drawing. So I'll just OK that. That's now inserted in the drawing. I can then close the catalog browser. And what I'll do now is I'll do a little pan and a zoom in there to that fuse 104 right there. Now it's become 104 because it's linked to that little wire network of 104 which links to the motor and the motor contact. But if I select that component, right click and edit that component, all the catalog data is there for me because I've linked it to that catalog entry in the AutoCAD Electrical project database. You can also access the schematic component database for your particular project through AutoCAD Electrical. It allows you to edit, add, and also edit existing components in the project as well. So let's have a look at how that works. But before we do that, just so that you know, we're still in the Demo 12 project, and we're still in Drawing Demo 02. Now, for this particular exercise, we don't actually need a drawing, but you have to have a drawing open to access the schematic database through AutoCAD Electrical. So go up to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, and then right over here to the far end of the ribbon itself, click on the Other Tools flyout, and then click on this flyout menu here, and you want Schematic Database File Editor. So when that opens up, you'll notice at the top of the dialog box, it's telling you that it's looking in the catalogs at the Schematic Lookup MDB file. So basically, these are all of what I've looked up already in the database and inserted into the project via the database. All of these at the moment are uneditable, but what I can do is click on one, like so, and highlight it, and then click on the Edit button down here. That allows me to edit the record in the database. Now, because this is a catalog component from a manufacturer, I don't really want to go and edit any of that information because it needs to be there. However, I can add an assembly code, a function description code. If it's on any panels anywhere, I can give it a block name, what category it comes under, what WD block name it has, which is the standard block name that it's used in all of your AutoCAD electrical drawings, and also the schematic block name. That's the block symbol that comes off the schematic icon menu. I can also add commands there as well. Things like, if it's a parametric build, things like PLC modules, which we'll look at later on, can be built parametrically. So that's where you can go in and set those parameters. I'll just cancel that because we haven't got any right now. I can also add comments to that particular database entry. So this is a push button and a normally open contact. That particular catalog entry is obviously a button of some shape or form, and it's normally open. Now, if I went and looked that up in the AB catalog, I could find it and obviously add that information to the database if I wanted to. I'm not going to make any changes, so I'm going to click cancel there, and I'm going to quit the actual catalog and database editing screen here as well. So I click on quit, and we're back into the drawing. So that's how you can go into the schematic catalog database, edit entries, add new entries if you need to. You might have some project-related items that need to be in there. But that's how you get to it, and that's how you edit it and add information to it through AutoCAD Electrical. Sometimes when you're working in AutoCAD Electrical, you do need to take panel drawing components and put them onto your schematic component drawings. We've got a different drawing open this time in this video. I'm still in the Demo 12 project, but I'm in the panel subfolder, and the current drawing is demo08.dwg. It's one of our panel drawings. And as you can see in the drawing here, it's telling me that that's an operator station right there, number 3. And you can see there that I've got some lights and some switches and things. Now this light here, if I click on it and then right click and go to attributes and just list edit, it tells me that there's no attributes to work on, but it also tells me the block name. Now this is the power on light for the operator panel, and it uses a block called ABLT3R. Now the AB stands for the manufacturer, which is AB, the LT stands for light, and it's probably a type 3 light, and the R stands for red. So now I know what the block name is, so I'm going to cancel that. And you'll notice that I've also got Drawing Demo 02 open. I click on the tab and there it is. There's a wire length there that I want to insert the corresponding schematic component for that power light on that panel drawing. So how do I do that? I go up to the schematic tab on the ribbon here, go to the Insert Components panel and click on the flyout menu here where the icon menu is, and go to Panel List. Now you'll notice I'm prompted for Extract Component List for Project. That's what we want. I want all of the installation codes and location codes. I can browse to an external file. Now I don't need to do that in this case because I'm looking to my drawings in my project, but I can go there if I need to. The browse option gives me that tool to use. I'll click on OK now, and it prompts me now for the drawings that I want to process. If I scroll down this list and look in the subfolder column, there's a panel drawing, and also there's another panel drawing. Holding down Control, I select those two. I then click on the Process button. It lists the two drawings that are going to be processed, and I click on OK. That then gives me a panel components list available for my schematic components drawings. Now you'll notice there's a block column. So if I slide down here using the slider, there's my ABLT3R, and there's my power on light there. You'll notice I've got an insert option. Now that's what I'm going to use. There's the red pilot light standard description. So I click on insert like so. Now what it's telling me is insert LT225, which is the actual manufacturer's code. It's an AB light, and there's the catalog number there, but there's no block available for it. So what I can do is I can select a component from the icon menu, or I can copy a just light component. Now I could go to the icon menu and go and search through all the lights, but if I just move this dialog box down, we did install a pilot light, didn't we? That might be the same sort of symbol that we want, but it might not be. It's up to you which route you take. You can copy a component from your existing drawing by using that light there, or I can go to the icon menu. In this particular case, I'm going to go to the icon menu, and what I'm going to go to is my pilot lights here. And what I want is a red standard pilot light there. There's the pilot light, and I'm just going to pop it on that wire length like so. And there it is there. Gives a component tag of LT105, which is fine. There's the power on description, which has come from the panel drawing. There's the AB 800H PR16R, which again has come from the panel drawing, and it's item number 8 on the panel drawing. And there's the location code as well, where it is on the panel. So I click on OK. It updates the database behind the drawing, goes into the project, and there's all my information. Possible mismatched item numbers have been encountered. It is recommended that you run resequence item numbers to correct any possible mismatches. Now that's quite standard in AutoCAD Electrical. What's happened there is this number here might clash with another number somewhere else. You can just click on OK, and then you need to close your panel components list once you've finished all of that. So I click on Close. Other drawings in the project set may include child components or related panel components. Do you want to batch process or update now? You can do it if you want to. In this case, I don't need to because I know that I've brought it in from that particular panel, so I can actually skip it, and all of that information there links up to that particular panel drawing that I've also got open, the Demo 08. So that's how you take information from the panel list and bring it into one of your schematic component drawings in AutoCAD Electrical. We're still in the project Demo 12. We're back in the schematic subfolder and we've got drawing Demo 02 open. Now there are occasions in AutoCAD Electrical where you might want to swap out an existing block reference, an existing component, such as a fuse like fuse 103, fuse 104 there, for a different component. Rather than go in and bring the component in, delete the existing component and so on and so forth, you can actually swap out or update existing component blocks in your drawings. It's very, very easy to do. You go to the Schematic tab here on the ribbon, and you go to this icon here on the Edit Components panel, Swap Update Block. Now you've got lots of different options here. I'll go through some of them with you. We're swapping out blocks one at a time. You can do this drawing-wide if you need to do all of them at once, or project-wide even. Now, what I'm going to do for simplicity's sake is pick a new block from the icon menu. But before I do that, let's have a look at the options that are available to us. We've got option A, where we can pick a new block from the icon menu, which is what we're going to do. I've also got pick new block just like. So I can pick an existing block reference in the drawing and substitute it for one of those. I can browse to a new block from the File Selection dialog box. So what I can do there is create a new block somewhere else as a DWG file, browse to it and use that as a block. Within option A, I can retain the old attribute locations if the block is going to be in a similar position. I can retain the old block scale. I can allow undefined wire type line reconnections. I can also auto retag if the parent swap causes any family damage between parent and child associations between blocks. Option B, I can update a block, revised or different version of the same block name. So I may create a block with the same block name as the existing block in the drawing. So if I do that, I update a block and substitute that new version for the selected block in the existing drawing. Or I can do a complete library swap. So what I can do there is create a whole new library of all the blocks I want to replace, and then what will happen is it will substitute all the blocks at once. Other things that you can do, attribute mapping, you can use the same attribute names. Brilliant if you're doing an option B, for example. Or I can use a new attribute mapping file and point towards it with all the new attribute mapping in it. So there's a lot of different settings in there that you can utilize to do lots of different things. Be very careful, because once you've made those changes, you can affect the database behind the drawings quite dramatically. Now what I'm going to do is keep it really nice and simple. I'm going to pick a new block from the icon menu. I'm going to replace one at a time. I'm not going to retain the old attribute locations, because if I'm picking a block from the icon menu blocks will actually position the attributes for me. So I click on OK now. I'm going to go to the Fuses, Circuit Breakers section here for the JIC symbols, and I'm going to change my fuses to fuse switches. So I'm going to go for this one here, fuse switch right. I get a pick box. If I click on fuse 103, it updates to a fused switch. If I click to FU 104, it creates another fuse switch. I press enter now to finish that. And if I just select this and right click, I can still edit the component and go in and edit the information if I want to. I'll just cancel that for the moment. Same with this one here, slightly different setup. If I go in here, edit component, you can see there I've still got the manufacturer, fuse tag, so on and so forth. So it's all still in there. All the information is still there. All you've done is swapped out the block reference but retained all the tag information. So that's how you swap out and update your blocks in your AutoCAD electrical drawings.